I wanted to introduce today, so I'm really glad we're here together. Thank you so much for joining us. And I was thinking about last week's topic, living in a dream, something like that, waking up from a dream, how our moment to moment experience we see again and again and again is simply our thinking. It isn't the outside circumstances that create it. And as we see that with food more and more, it's so easy not to follow those urges to grab something when we're not hungry that relate to our emotional thinking response to life that truly isn't what it seems to be.
Yeah, that's certainly been my experience in life that what I experience is the interpretation that I give to what's going on. It's my thinking about what's going on. And I know we've all seen the situation where two people are in the same circumstance, and one comes up with a solution that's kind of wild and crazy, and the other one comes up with something that's pretty reasonable. It's like, well, obviously, the experience one person is having is very different from the experience the other person's having.
Yeah.
They're interpreting it very differently. And I know I've told the story about how there was a small group of people who got locked into a courthouse, a small town, 5 o'clock, security locked up. They didn't know these other people were in one of the rooms. So when the group of people was trying to get out, they were locked in. And a couple of them just got so upset. It's like, it's after 5 o'clock, we need to get home. And their solution was to break this glass door. You know, want to blame somebody, you should have known we were there. And they kind of got into that mindset. And one of the other people just slipped across the hallway and there was a payphone. And they just went and called security and they were out in 5 minutes. So how is it that the same circumstance, getting accidentally locked into the courthouse, created a lot of disturbed thinking in some of them and not in others? And it kind of relates back to last week and waking up from the dream. What seems to produce the dreamlike experience where we're not in control is when it looks like life happens to me.
True.
Because in the dream, life is happening to me and I'm not in control. But when we begin to realize that our experience in any circumstance is the result of my thinking about it, my interpretation of it, and that the experience is generated from the inside out, then when I find myself being really disturbed and feeling kind of victimized by life happening to me, it can be kind of like a wake-up call. Wake up from the dream. You don't need to be afraid of what's happening. When you wake up and you see that, oh, I'm just generating this whole movie inside my mind, which seems so real because it's the way I'm interpreting the events. And the unfortunate thing is that we base our behavior, our choices, our actions on that. So let's break the door down, or let's call security. So when this comes up, sometimes we get scared. I mean, for me, whenever I'm reaching for food when I'm not hungry, there's something going on inside.
Yeah.
And so when I begin to realize, oh, what is this that's driving this desire to eat something, even though I'm not hungry? And it helps me to just pause for a moment, get a better perspective on what's going on and make a choice. Do I really want to eat this right now? And sometimes I do, and sometimes I don't. But like we've recommended in the past, if you pause and you see that you still want to go through, knowing that you're not hungry, go through with the idea of having that food, eat that food with presence.
Yeah, what is the presence? Well, it's really simple. What you want to do is put the bite of food in the mouth, chew it, chew it, chew it while you're tasting it, smelling it, feeling its texture. And if you want to, what even heightens the experience is to feel love for the food. And then the most important element, as you swallow it, see how your body receives it, and if it was an ideal choice in the moment. Then you're constantly learning from everything you do to be more aligned with what the body needs and its wisdom than trying to relieve some anxiety or emotional upset that you may have thought you had in your life.
Yeah, that you were dreaming was maybe worse than it really is. And I know from my experience of doing that over time is that I would get anxious about something and I'd want to reach for some food. Often for me, it was like a sugary, chocolatey kind of treat. And I would eat it with presence. And I would notice, yeah, it kind of took that kind of mental anxiety away. My body doesn't feel really good having had that. And so over time, when I think to return to that, have that kind of a chocolatey treat, I'd want to go for it, but I would be able to get a little better message, clearer message from my body. You can, but it's not what's really best right now. And in my mind, I'd go, darn, because I'd really like to eat this for that little high, but I know in the long run, it's not worth it. So yeah, that's what kind of broke the camel's back for me on that whole cycle of reaching for sweet treats when I feel some anxiety. So we wanted to share a little video with you too that we came across on YouTube the other day about children when they first discover they have a shadow. And how sometimes that can be really scary. So we're going to take a pause here and let you watch that.
And be aware that shows us we can get frightened of things that aren't real. And we think they're out there affecting us. But what really occurs is we simply respond to our thinking in the moment and the feelings that accompany it.